looked at anything.
All right, so we are recording. We
Good.
are live on Facebook, and I think Miss Jeannie Fry is joining us. Hi, how are
Hello.
you?
Oh,
And
hi.
don't forget, you can change your name to Jeannie. Yep. All right, so as we're getting started, I just want to tell everybody we're live on Facebook. We are recording. This probably will be uploaded later on in the week to YouTube, so everybody knows that. Now that we're on, there's a few people that I do expect that we'll be letting on, but once we start the meditation, I'm probably not going to allow anyone in after that. So just so everybody knows that. And let's move that keyboard out of the way. And Miss Jeannie, you are muted. Unmute yourself.
Now you can hear the sirens in New York City.
Oh, gosh, what a lovely
That's
sound.
life.
You're going to make me miss New York.
Oh, when
That's
did you leave?
Oh, gosh, I left in 1988.
Oh, that's so long.
oh wow.
Yeah,
That was
it
when
is.
the part where I live in Brooklyn was
Oh,
then.
and that's where I was, Brooklyn.
Oh,
Ah, gosh, I love Brooklyn.
it's so pretty.
It's different to
Oh,
everywhere else in
because
the
it's covered
world.
in snow.
Yes, I don't know if you guys can see it out the window behind
It
me.
looks all white.
Oh,
Is it snowing right now?
yeah.
No, it's very bright.
Because it's all white.
Yeah.
We don't. Nope. Ours has. We expected this huge
I love your
storm,
windows,
and
Mickey. That's beautiful.
it's not materialized.
Oh, Mickey, your windows are beautiful. I love
Oh,
those windows.
oh, thank you very much.
Can I ask you guys a question about whether or not you want to get the vaccine? Because I read in the Seth book, don't get the vaccine, it might mess you up later. But then he also says things like, you need your medicine for now while your beliefs are what they are. So I was
Yeah,
going to get it because my beliefs, I'm too risky to think I can, like, I'm invulnerable, you know.
I've been done.
Oh, you did it already.
I'm done.
So you're on the
Did
same
you
page.
have a 2 or a 1 dose?
One.
You
So
have
far,
to
the
get a
first
second
dose.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I haven't done the second dose yet, but Jack and I have both been vaccinated for the first one. And he's and I, we're both the highest category, but his category within the top is even higher than mine. You
Oh,
know, so
see,
he
I
has
don't
several.
qualify at all.
He
Oh,
has several serious conditions, and then plus he's just had his 90th birthday. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
my
they've
sis-
got him wrapped up tight.
Good.
my sister's working in a hospital in Queensbury, New York.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
know where that is? And she said when the nurses were getting their second shot, they would get some symptoms like fever and tiredness. And because she knew that in advance, when she was getting her second shot, she did the Jedi mind trick. Like,
Hmm.
I never get sick. Nothing ever goes wrong for me, and it
It
worked.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It works. It's projecting, isn't it? It's
yeah.
like Seth said,
Freaky.
of setting up your intention, and I'm all for that.
Yeah. It's also it's mind belief as to whatever it is. So I agree with Seth. It was how we believe things are now. It's probably best that we do things unless
Yeah.
to the point where you don't need to do things. So for me, I truly believe that we all kind of have this virus already, just
In us.
like all
Hmm.
kinds of viruses, like the
Oh,
C
I'm
virus.
sure.
We
Yeah.
know that, but our bodies know how to take care of it. There's checks and there's balances. And Seth said that our bodies, our human bodies, are so adaptive to our environment that
Yeah.
we can even adapt to eating like weird food or plastic or whatever we would have
Hmm.
to survive, that our bodies are just so amazing. But we have to, and we've proven this. I mean, 50 years ago, everything was homegrown and whatever. And now everything's
Exactly.
moving to this other way of living. It hasn't killed us, but if we plucked me out of the 50s when I was born and put me right here now, I bet I couldn't survive.
Right.
I had
And the thing is, even though they were growing their own food, it was also not full of pesticides and poisons. So
that's
there's a
right.
big
That's right.
difference.
'Cause that didn't come up till the Vietnam era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. So I think that it's our belief system inside of us. So my belief system is that my body knows how to take care of this, and it knows how to fight it or keep it in check or whatever. My body's in balance, basically.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm not worried about it. However, Oshar and I love, love, love to travel. So if traveling is stopped because of not having it, we will get that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I forgot about
I
that.
will not be trapped here. No way.
I can't wait to travel too. I really want to go back to Ireland. I went to Dublin
Oh.
about 2 years ago, and oh, there's so many places on my list. Where are you going?
Well, I've never been to Dublin, but I've been to Galway and I love it over there. I've been to
Oh.
Scotland. I've been to Spain, Mexico, and a lot of the United States, you know, so
Yeah.
yeah. Oshar and I have been, we got this little map and we're trying to figure out, go to the states that the two of us haven't been to yet. So, you know, we've done a lot of them, but we're still working. Oh, and we've been to, we went last year, we went up to Nova Scotia and love that. So we want to do some more visiting of Western Canada when they finally let us back in. And I want to
Don't hold your breath.
I know, but I want to go there, and I also want to go Mexico, Belize, that area.
Yeah.
I've been to Mexico, I've been to Tulum, and I just loved it there.
I went there too.
Yeah, beautiful place. Here comes
Yeah.
Audrey, and on Facebook we have Maria Durden. Hi, Maria. And did I see? Yes, Miriam is on. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Audrey.
Hello.
Oh, there she is. You're still muted though.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
Hey, love. How you doing?
good.
You're
How's
full of
everybody?
sunshine today. Look at you. Glowing.
Yeah.
No, it's snowing.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, okie dokie.
You
How is everybody?
Great.
Hanging in there.
very, very
Cool.
good. So after I
Cool.
saw you guys last week, I had my stitches taken out on Monday, and tomorrow I start
Wow.
therapy. So
That's fast.
it is fast, but you know what? The whole thing, it's been a month since this happened to me. Month, 5 weeks,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm so ready to be over it. You know, it feels like a very long process to me. It's all perception, you know.
Yeah, it is. It
It
is.
It is. And so I got to tell you guys, I did this subtle aspects of insignificant action, right? That is the topic for the meditation today. And I'm just like, I just don't get his meditation at all. So I'm like, I know what insignificant events are, insignificant actions. Bert Goldman went into them in depth. I get
Yeah.
it. I can tell you the insignificant action that happened when I was a freshman in high school that caused me to be here in Elmira today.
Oh.
I
I want to hear that story.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a haircut. It was easy. It was a haircut. I got a haircut. I was chasing a boy.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
He did not like my hair.
For what?
I had hair parted in the middle, black, like Cher, right?
Yeah.
Hair. He did not like it. As soon as I got the haircut, then he wanted me. And I ended up getting pregnant and blah, blah, blah. Went to another, and here I am. So had I not gotten that haircut, I know darn well that something else would have happened. So that girl is out there doing her own thing, and I get that.
It's the Samson syndrome.
With your haircut. Do you guys
Cut
know?
your hair and got vulnerable.
Do you guys know Patty
I
Smith?
went from
the punk-
Cher to Sally
Yeah.
Fields, you know.
She attributes a haircut to changing her life too. When she
Was that?
Patty Smith, the
Patti
punk rock
Oh,
singer.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She came to New York City, and I guess she asked someone to cut her hair like Keith Richards. And as soon as she started looking like a rock star, she just kept getting all these shows and offers and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. Well, see, all I got was 2 children. No, it's been a wonderful life. It really has been. But I know darn well that that was my insignificant moment. So
Yeah.
Seth is trying to teach that we pay attention to everything so that we can feel those insignificant moments. But I had to go back and read like the whole session to understand what he was trying to say. So when I do this meditation, I've added pieces that help me understand it that's not in the actual exercise. So
That's probably going to be very helpful to
I
those who
hope
are
so.
listening.
I hope so. And
Yeah.
also, which I've never done this before, but this particular one, when I do the hypnosis part of it, I'm going to ask you to say things out loud. So I
Oh.
will mute everybody. So
Uh-huh.
it's all very private and you can say whatever you want, as loud as you want, or whisper it into your little collar, whatever you want to do. But I will mute everybody so that you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm really excited about this because I can see where it's going to make a change and a difference. And this has been like the craziest week. You know,
Oh.
it has been. And Mickey and I talked a little bit about it, and astrology has come into play. You know, and I have this neighbor that lives across the street from me. And he called me up and he's like, I really need to come over and make an appointment with you. I need to talk to you. And, you know, so we just talked on the phone for like an hour and a half and I helped him to see things. And I know darn well that those were for me.
Oh.
Oh,
They
that's
were
awesome.
they were so for me. Everybody was saying, and I'm like, why is it that I can say these words out loud to help someone else, yet I can't, they just don't come to me that I need to. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. So part of it is being an empath. I would always have said to people, and I don't know if Seth even ever talked about this. I should put it into Finding Seth to check it out, but I don't know if he talked about empathy or being an empath. But I would always tell people I'm not empathic at all. I am not. I don't, because I look at it as healing empaths. They kind of take on people's stuff, they heal it within themselves, and then they send it back. Reiki doesn't work that way. Reiki is just like the universe. It comes through me, it comes to my heart, it comes out my hands, it goes to the person. It's a one-way flow. I don't take anything on of anybody else's.
Yeah. And
so I've always said, I'm not an empath. I'm not an empath. And I realized yesterday, I am so an empath. and that's because I can put myself in someone else's shoes and see the other side of things. You know, I may have my feelings about something, but I can stand where they are and look at their views and say, well, I can see how they can feel that way. And I can feel that. And there's so many people around me that cannot do that. They just can't do that.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful, wonderful people.
Right.
They have such hard views.
Yeah.
They're not open to looking at any other view. And I used to be like that, very much so. So this is
that's what their particular contract is this time. That's what, you know, they've contracted to come see it through a certain wardrobe, through a certain emotional wardrobe.
Viewfinder, yes.
Yeah. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Mickey. Hi, Audrey.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
One more day of work and I get 2 days off.
Ooh.
You're off tomorrow. You're not. You're working, huh?
Yeah, I work tonight, but it's almost like having the day off.
Just almost.
Yeah, one day away.
Well, everybody on here, I'll just tell you, I sent out all the Seth thank yous for 2020. So they all went out in Friday's mail. So I have, I did want to say this too. This has been the busiest year and it's only what, 6 weeks into it.
Yes.
It's been crazy. So January is always busy for me because I have to get all of the tax stuff done for the Seth house and my other business. And so it's just a busy month. Then you added to the fact that I fell and hurt myself for 2 weeks. I've had surgery. I agreed to help with the Seth conference, which I have bowed
That's
out of.
Huge.
I stopped that. I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, I just couldn't. My plate was so overrunning that I couldn't breathe anymore. And I'm like, I am spread so thin, I just can't do this. So I had to step back from everything except what I absolutely had to do. So we aren't going to be participating because it was getting to be that it was like 1-2 meetings a week plus other chit chats. And it was just getting to be more than I could handle. So anyway, the Seth House stepped back from that. And so we're not participating in that. So, but I do want to keep going.
Okay.
I love doing Seth Talk. So
I
It's
did
over
read
here.
something about
That's it.
empaths, but I can't remember if it was Seth. It might have been, do you guys know Mike
Okay.
Dooley?
no.
Yes.
Oh, I just remember somebody saying that a lot of times you shouldn't label yourself anything that has any detrimental things to it. So some
Right.
people say, oh, I'm an empath, everything hurts my feelings, like if
I do.
go
I
out,
do that a lot. Yeah.
you see a homeless person and then you can't be yourself the rest of the day because you're worried about that person or and when you were saying things about people that aren't able to put themselves in other people's shoes, some people can do it intellectually and think, oh, I would hate to be down and out like that, but some people feel the feelings, and that
Right.
can be a little detrimental to them.
So I don't think I feel the feelings. I think I can step into that and understand it intellectually, like you're saying. So I guess that was a little iffy for me. Now I did look it up, Finding Seth, and he only mentioned empathize, and twice, once in Unknown Reality and once in Nature of Personal Reality. That's it.
Does it say what he said?
Empathize in Unknown Reality. Generally, the Sumari have the capacity to reach out emotionally to others and empathize. To some extent, this feeling for humanity often serves as an impetus for creative work. Many of them also have a mystical sense of connection with nature. At the same time, they can be relative isolationists wanting to work in solitude.
That might be me.
That makes
There you
sense.
go.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
And then in The Nature of Personal Reality, he said, its original purpose was to enable you to empathize on an aware level with yourselves and other members of creaturehood so that you could consciously control what was previously handled on a biological level alone. Oh, I think we have to go back and read more. See, that's what happened when I did this exercise. I read the exercise and I'm like, I have to go back and read more of this. So yeah, I have to go back and read more of Nature of Personal Reality. So if anybody wants to go and check it out, it's session 634 in chapter 8. Yeah.
Thanks.
I will be right back.
Okay. So how's everybody been this week?
Good.
I've been really good.
Good. I keep seeing posts of yours as a rock star.
I'm a secret rock star.
That is awesome.
If you guys want to see, we're playing like a 25-minute set on Facebook Live Saturday at 8:30. I can invite you to the
do that.
page if you want.
Yeah. Can you invite groups?
I can post on a group page, but I don't want to distract from,
Yeah, people might get.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm a rock star on the Seth page. That way.
Just invite me. I'll let people know. I think that's awesome.
It's very fun. It's also very fun because I write the lyrics. So sometimes I'll sneak Seth's ideas in my songs, and hope.
I love that.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Great. So have
Seth Rock.
Seth does rock. Seth and Jeannie rock. Well, he was a rocker, right? She used to listen to rock and roll all the time.
Oh, Jane did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. If you read the early sessions, quite often Rob will say, "Oh, she was out there with her radio on with the rock station."
oh, cool.
And of course, they're the same stations that are still here, so it's 94 Rock. So we know what it is.
No.
Yeah. It's so weird living in the town where the things that they mention are real. Like I
Yeah.
assumed that most writers write fictional things. They didn't. They wrote about real places and real people, and sometimes they changed their names, but not much.
Did you know the author of the Wizard of Oz grew up in Peekskill, New York? And I met a guy from Peekskill, and he was like, "Do you want to see the yellow brick road?" And I was like, "What are you
No
talking
way.
about?" He's like,
Oh, wow.
"There was really a yellow brick road here. That's why it's in the book."
Oh
And
my
there was like just a few dirty gold-colored bricks left where I guess they
Oh.
could be.
Sure. Oh my gosh.
One of the Munchkins lived in Flushing near where I lived.
Oh, wow.
It ties in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very
I did not
cool.
know that. Well, and It's a Wonderful Life, he came, his family lived in Elmira, so they talked about being in Elmira in that movie. So I don't know what it is about this area. I mean,
Huh,
Hal
that's
Roach
interesting.
lived here.
Who?
Hal Roach.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what he's famous for. He's a writer.
My sister
You know,
lived
the Little
there.
Rascals guy, whoever the Little Rascals person, he was from here. Mark Twain lived here. His family was here. So yeah, this
Yeah, Mark Twain.
has cultivated many writers and a lot of creative people. Tommy Hilfiger's from here, for God's sake.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
He was 2 years, I think, ahead of my ex in school. So, yeah.
And when Jane wrote about the time that there was going to be a flood and Seth told her they didn't need to evacuate, was that the house, the Seth house or the Hill house?
No, that they were at the Seth house then.
Wow.
It was the last 4 years they lived there, and they were writing Nature of Personal Reality at that time, because it's in the book. There's 2 chapters devoted to the flood. And they had apartment 4 at that time because they mentioned we could see the river, and the only apartment you can see the river from is either apartment 5, which is the normal apartment, but you could also see it from out front, apartment 3, and they never lived there. But then they talked about how they watched the water come up the red brick house. Well, that's from apartment 4.
Oh.
So that's across the hall. Yeah. I know, we went and figured it all out. He said the water went halfway up the first floor windows. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water.
Wow.
So the apartment that O'Shar and I lived in, apartment 1A, the water was probably this high on me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that apartment has God, it has the most beautiful flooring. It's herringbone pattern, like oak herringbone. And it's original, and it didn't warp. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it could use like a little bit of refinishing and then staining, but there's no warpage. It's beautiful. And
I
then
wonder if
it
it's
has a
the
sunken living room.
the herringbone design maybe has something to do with it not warping, like the way the angles are.
I don't know. But or they used better quality stuff back then. I don't think they removed anything from the house except clean mud. Because I know when O'Shara cleaned and she kept smelling this awful smell. And she finally, she said to the landlord, she's like, I can't stand this anymore. She's like, and when the heat comes on, he goes, oh, that's flood mud. And she goes, what? And so he disconnected the radiators and put them outside, and he gave her a hose, and she scrubbed the flood mud off the radiators that happened 50, 60 years ago.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was in the kitchen and in the I don't know if it was in the bathroom or if it was in the hallway right outside the bathroom, but they were pretty bad. So yeah. And where I was from, you know, we had the flood too, but I wasn't here in Elmira. We were downstream. So whatever didn't make it to Elmira made it down to us.
Did the smell go away after she did that? After she
It
scrubbed
did, yeah. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, the mud just hung on to it, and it was just it's a smell like you just don't forget. And even though like up here it's the Chemung River, where I lived, it was the Susquehanna River, is the same smell. I mean, you just can't mistake it. Yeah. And then in this town,
Special kind of fish.
they tore down so many buildings in this town. Beautiful old big buildings. They did not do that where I was from, and they didn't do it in the Binghamton area. So I don't, and they didn't do it in Corning, and that was all flooded too. But Elmira was just on a cleared out. They cleared out a lot of east side. They cleared out a lot of downtown. Like if you come to town now, when you came up here, you drove right up Water Street and you could see the river, and there was like riverfront parks and stuff. That used to be all businesses along there. And they just tore them all down. And they've torn down things for parking lots. You know, we used to have 3 movie theaters. We don't have any anymore. They tore everything down and made either parking lots or, you know, or they're just empty fields.
All right, it's me then.
There's a very short-sighted area, I think.
Yeah, it's like the kind of thinking for progress doesn't include the kind of like global thinking, you know?
Yeah, I think that it was an agenda for the people that were running the town. And it hasn't been good for the town. And I do think that there's an upswing, hopefully. And by fixing up the Seth house, it's an eyesore right there on the corner of town. So hopefully we get to that. Now that we have 4 whole apartments in the building, like that's so awesome.
Yeah.
We got the book.
Wow.
Do I have a copy of the book here? I don't have a copy of the book. Just let me see. Let me grab the book. I want to show you what it looks like. Oh.
Mickey, I wanted to ask you about contracts, because another question I was thinking of is, how do you know if like you're fighting against something that's a contract and it's just going to be an area of frustration because you already agreed? Or
Well, it's just it's my own term. It's something that it was a way for me to make what I was reading about reincarnation, and all of what Seth was saying about you create your reality. And I thought, well, I don't see how I created this and this and this, because I had some things you like in your life, and then some things are so horrible you think, oh, I didn't do this. Why would I do, you know? But you agreed to live the life you're living before you were even conceived. It was your agreement to get conceived. You know, you make contracts with other souls who are going to come and read this script and that script and that. Well, I'll be the brown lady who lives here, and you be the white guy who lives across the street. And, you know, you get a bunch of your buddies who are going to do this production with you. I'll go down this time and be this. Well, I'm over here doing this. Will you come and be the so-and-so? You be the garbage guy who picks up my rubbish. I mean, you people your little play with whomever you like that's part of your group.
I thought the contracts were more like just broad things or specific events, like, oh, I'll agree to you know, die in the Twin Towers so that others can see that war is useless.
But I think you're right. I mean, that's what I was seeing. I'm saying that we have fleshed out what this particular incarnation will be roughly. I'll have this much latitude changing it, because once you've contracted to be Black, you can't suddenly decide to be brown or yellow. You know what I mean?
True. However, you could say you contracted to be born to a woman that was young and couldn't keep you. Right. So you were to teach this woman, so maybe your contract was with this woman. Yes. But you went on to be adopted.
Right.
to someone
Exactly.
else. And that might not have been part of the contract. Your contract was just
Which-
with this lady, but you still had a whole life to live.
But I think that
That's how
I
it
understand
changed.
what you're saying, but for me, when I said contracted, I meant it to be that I've agreed to what I'm living in this lifetime.
Do you think
And that within the context of that, I had a certain amount of freedom to change some things. But some of the things were hard things in the contract and some were optional. You
no?
know, you can change this, you can decide you're going to be a hippie, you can decide you will wear makeup, you won't wear makeup, you'll fix your hair, you'll dreadlock your hair. Whatever it is you're doing, you a part to me a part of understanding that you create your own reality is to explore the edges of your contract, explore those things that are not hardwired into it that you can change. So if you wanted to be a musician and you suddenly change your mind from being a lawyer, and you can change midstream and literally create something different. And for me, being able to go and put a projection out there to my other selves that I'm about to change now and be this or this or this. Whoever you are out there that's doing something similar, I need your input. I need your help. I want to make this path change. How do I step from this path to this one? And sometimes there are little tiny paths between the two. You know,
Yeah.
and you have to you have to look at the big leap and say, well, what were the little steps in between, and agree to make those changes. I will study such and such a thing. I will educate myself on how to be that instead of this, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a way of illustrating to myself that I had a lot of leeway to work with. And it's like when people always say to me, "Oh, you've had a very strange life." I'm like, "Oh yeah, because I change up all the time." My first husband and I actually agreed to change industries every 3 years. So we would go in and start, say, in the mailroom, quote unquote, and come out as vice president 3 years later. And that was just something that we were doing for kicks.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But they were very different industries. And,
But why did you agree that? What were you getting
because
out of
we're a
that?
bunch of crazy hippies, the two of us, and we were easily bored, and we wanted to try this and this and this, entertainment, advertising, banking. I mean, we kept exploring all these different things.
It's
But
so
that's
cool.
because I was reading Seth in my 20s, you see? And so as I'm at that part of life where you are deciding how to aim yourself, just as when people say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, right after they ask the question, somebody else snatched me in my collar and says, wait a minute, come over here. When they say that to you, give them the following list. Don't let them put you in one box.
Uh-huh.
You need a whole basket full of boxes. And right now, I'm going to be this, but then I'm going to be that. And then I'm going to explore that, because everything about life was exciting me to all the other things you could be. It was fascinating to me that you could come here and be. You meet people who are all being 1,000 other things than what you thought of.
Uh-huh.
So can you step off of this path and then step onto the other one? Sometimes you can. It depends on what you're willing to do to change your path. It's according to what you're willing to understand about making that change. There is nothing that doesn't have two sides.
Yes.
So if you're willing,
even
huh?
even with a contract saying
Yeah.
that you came to do a certain thing, you
Well,
still
it's in my contract that I can. Ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
Well, okay.
Because he didn't read the fine print.
Throw this into the mix, right? So you've got this contract, and here's Mickey. She's changing industry to industry, but every time she makes a decision, the old Mickey stays in that industry. So there's that
Yes.
the probable self, and
Yes.
she takes another probable path. And how
Yes.
many of those splits are there? So how many Mickeys are there to call upon to help?
Millions.
Yeah.
millions.
Mhm.
And I mean, I consciously, literally contract with my other selves
Yes.
that,
And
okay, I'm ready to try some of what you're doing.
Oh,
Come
because
help me switch.
you're getting input from them.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are so neat.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but that's in my contract.
And you know what? That's great that you know your contract. I don't know my contract, but you know what? When I'm
Look
on
around.
the place, it feels right. You know,
If you look around your life at everything that's in it, you're looking at your contract.
oh,
So
I
if
get
there's anything in it you don't like, then you need to start exploring what would happen if I change this? Is that what I want? What were the good part, the pros and cons of changing a particular thing that's in your contract? You know, that's and I reiterate, that's just my little word that I was using for me. Contract, the concept of it is not Sethian at all.
Because I have heard that before. And remember the first time I heard the concept, I sort of felt a sense of relief, like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
I agreed to something,
Yeah.
because I love singing and I've rarely ever made any money from it. Like,
Yeah,
never
me
enough
too.
that I could
Me
say,
too.
I'm quitting my job. I'm a rock star now. But I just think I tried to stop, but I just felt it calling me and calling me. So I just was like, well, I'm always going to do this. So it doesn't really matter what my work is that I make money from, because
That's
this is
me.
what I
That's what I did. That's why I was so willing to change my vocation, because that wasn't the main thing. My main thing was entertainment, the singing. You know, I was a jazz singer, and that's all that I really cared about. So if I had to do other things to make the money to allow me to play around with the jazz, because I wasn't making money at that.
Right.
But you know, and even some of the more famous people don't make any money at it. They just love it.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I understand exactly what you're saying, but you have to be willing to encompass all the other parts of that new path. And I do make agreements with possible selves or probable selves or other, you know, counterparts of myself.
Uh-huh.
But to me, all of those exist now and are at your disposal because time is all happening at once. They're there. Whatever life you're, quote, going to live after this one, or whatever one was in your past, there is no such thing as past. So that, whatever it is going on now. Talk to it. You know?
You seem to be getting some more extra information that I don't like. I understand the concepts of probable selves, and because every time you make a decision you split off, that means the whole array, like the happiest Genie Fry and the most miserable Genie Fry version is out there. And
Yeah.
the way I think of it is, I'm desperate to keep my vibration up to be closer to the
Yeah.
happiest than the saddest
Yes.
version.
Well, then only speak to the ones that are happy.
But you speak to them theoretically, or you
No,
have
when I
contact?
lie down at night and decide to meditate, I address myself to whom I want to contact at that moment. Tonight, in this meditation, I want to talk to everybody who can do this, this, and this. But I only want to speak to the ones who can help me do it in a positive way. I state that right from the beginning. If you're
Smart.
going through a bad version of the movie, I don't want to join it where it is. You
Right.
know, you just push pause and move on to the next channel. You see, you know, it's all about, remember, it's intention.
yes. But
And so I make my intentions very clear.
and you can send those other ones that might not be in the best of places love and compassion,
Yes.
peace,
I do.
and you will feel that return.
Yes.
Where you will feel it return.
Yes, you will.
But Nikki's 100% right. And you know what? I hate sounding like a broken record. I mean, I love Seth, but I love Bert Goldman. And his Quantum
Yes.
Moving series, he had us jump to, so I understood parallel selves long before I ever heard the name Seth.
Yeah.
Because he was doing quantum jumping to a doppelganger, a
Yes.
doppelganger of yourself. So you would go in meditation and you would intend to meet the person that was the great singer, or that was the great businessman, or that was the
Yes.
doctor, or whatever you wanted to be better at. You wanted to meet yourself that was an expert at that thing. And then you would pick up the vibration that they had. You could merge with them. You could just talk to them. You could ask them questions. And sometimes you got like answers right away. Other times you got feelings, but then you bring it back here. And it
was answers would play out in your next hour or day or week.
Or immediately.
Yeah, or right then, instant karma, they call it.
Yeah.
So is that what the incidental action, is that what you called it?
Well,
no, that's a different thing.
That is different. Yeah.
Or you take many actions as if you were that person. That's not it.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm at the wrong meeting.
But it's
yeah, it's a different thing. That's a different concept.
It is.
Okay.
Yet it's been. I learned that before I knew Seth too. So this is just I actually learned Seth a really roundabout way. and it was through Bert Goldman. It truly was. I didn't know what any of this stuff was called because he didn't really name things. He never used the word Seth. I don't know that he ever studied Seth, but it's clearly.
I bet he did.
I think so too, but it's
I'm sure he did.
And Mickey met the man. He just died in May.
Yeah.
I wish I could met him. He was.
I mean, I was seeing him almost weekly.
He made such a difference in my spiritual life. That parallel selves was like one of the easiest things for me to grasp because I already had a good understanding of it. I just called it a different name.
Well, the minute I read it, it reminded me of everything I was reading then in Seth.
Yeah.
You could the minute you run into these people. When I ran into what's her name, Shirley MacLaine, and she suddenly turned into a whole woo-woo side of life.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things were coming in to me at the same time. Gary Zukav, when Oprah discovered him and suddenly she started to go all woo-woo. I mean, there were a lot of people at the time. Ramtha had come up, which was how Shirley MacLaine got into it.
I read the Shirley MacLaine book, Out on a Limb. I love the part where she goes into the tree, feels the tree.
Yes. Yes. So I loved Out on a Limb. And is that the one where she, I forget, because there were about 4 of them, weren't there? There was You Can't Get There From Here, or all kinds of stuff where she started to explore her understanding of the occult, of the fact that there's another dimension to everything, that the physical reality is not it. It's not all that there is. And I loved following that journey. And my favorite part was when she was in Peru, I think it was.
Yes.
Okay. And that thing with the truck on the mountainside where it's driving, with the help of the aliens. Yes. Like, woohoo! I was gone then. I've been weird ever since. Truthfully, I was weird long before that. But
now you can find some of those Bert Goldman meditations online.
I
used to do them here at the center every Friday at noon. And I just love doing them. I would do them again for people if they were interested in them.
Oh, yeah. I think it's very worthwhile. It's wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And it's timely still.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I think it will be for a long time.
Absolutely. It's helped me. I mean, I remember when I first had the business, the first year I was in business and I wasn't doing well at all. And I was so frustrated. And I went into one of his meditations and I wanted to meet the businesswoman that was very successful at what I was doing. And I remember in the meditation, we ended up on the front porch sitting on the steps together. And, I cannot even remember what she said to me, but the business has been thriving ever since. So whether it was just her energy or her vibration was higher, I don't know what exactly it was, but this shit works.
Yeah. But I think the part of it could have been the fact that at that moment, when you reached out, quote, to her, unquote, you were exercising your belief in your intention. At that point, you had intended to get the help you needed. You believed it was possible, and
yeah.
you felt that it was happening because you were actually dialoguing with someone you trusted as a source. So when you come away from that, you've done all the magic you're supposed to do to make it happen. So it had to happen.
So that's like meeting your higher self, letting them drop it in framework 2, walking
Yeah.
away and having everything work right.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God. Yes. Yes.
And that's the nature of magic. I mean, when
Yeah.
people talk about, I don't believe in magic, oh, that's bullshit. Well, you just didn't read the directions. It couldn't be easier,
Yeah.
you know. So it does work,
It does. Yeah.
but you cannot sit there and bitch and moan about your nasty neighbor and, oh, look at that woman. Why did she wear that today? If you're that kind of person that's sitting in the window looking out on the street, judging everybody that goes by, don't sit up 10 minutes later talking about, I'm going to meditate and create a better world. Start at home with yourself. You can't do magic with an evil heart.
Yes.
You know, so
Your belief system, if you always believe bad
Yeah.
things, it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
If you really don't believe that the magic can happen,
Yeah.
don't waste your time on meditation.
Yeah,
Just
that
go
is the
continue
law.
hanging out with your evil, nasty friends and enjoy it. Because some people's contract was that I'm going to come there and be a nasty person this
Yeah.
time because you're going to explore what that's all about. It means that you had a lot better knowledge the next time of how not to be. It was part of your learning. And I keep reminding myself that Seth says there is no such thing as evil.
Yes. Oh,
What we think of as evil is something that we are not understanding the other side of at the moment. So it's playing out because it's something we needed to know more about.
Well, one of the things is nobody ever advances if things are running smooth, right?
Exactly.
And escape by.
Exactly.
There's something in your path and you have to evolve. So
Yeah.
we need those things.
I've learned the most from those people,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
Family members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't I know it?
Contract, you
Oh.
agreed to be their family.
Exactly.
That's right. I know.
You contracted with them to be closer than most in this incarnation.
Oh, yes.
So you could learn faster and more intensely.
I'm a slow learner.
Now that is a belief. You're one.
No, you're right.
Fast
You're right.
learner and everything.
I was.
And everything is going fast right now. Super fast.
I would suggest, if I may be so bold and so personal and stick my little nose in, that you don't say you're a slow learner ever again.
Okay.
And that if you want to express it in a way, it's truth. It may be true, but the problem is the emotion you attach to the truth. So when you say, "Well, I'm a slow learner," no. Well, because I learn slowly, I tend to do blah 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 blah. I concentrate harder. I do it for longer. But there's a positive way to look at doing things in a slow way.
Well, the truth is I've learned because I've separated from
Yes.
all
But
that.
but you must not think of being a slow learner as a negative thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can hear it in your voice when you say it. You're either all right and comfortable with it, or it's somehow a statement that you feel, well, I'm a slow learner and other people learn faster than me, and but don't go there because that's not what it's for. I do a lot of stuff slower than other people do. And it's okay. I had to learn for it to be all
Yeah.
right because it's part of who I am now. There's some
Yeah.
stuff I do a lot faster than others. And I don't beat them over the head with it. You know, you're slow. That's just bad.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I think you're a wonderful learner.
absolutely.
You've landed here. We've all landed here.
And
So
we're the
whether
best
we were
learners.
slow or fast didn't matter, did it? Look where it got us.
Yeah, it's funny how just reading the Seth books for so many years, it gave me like an underlying feeling like I'm ahead of the pack. But
Uh-huh.
no, so many people are catching up. Like, or maybe it's because of the internet. We get to know who's doing it now, right?
Yes.
Instead of these isolated little pockets. It's so
Yes.
fun to have someone to talk to about this stuff. It's
Yeah.
not all the stuff you just have been thinking by yourself for so many years.
I look at the fact that, okay, Jeff
I
Bezos
know.
may not have ever heard of Seth, but he obviously is working on something the rest of us aren't working on because he's the richest man in the whole world.
I wonder if he set that as a conscious intention. I want to be the richest
Exactly.
man in the world.
Exactly. And see, I think back to, I remember when it started, when he was selling books, used
Undercutting
and new,
Yeah.
and everybody was bitching and moaning about he's never going to succeed and blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to buy books over the internet and blah, blah, blah. Well, look at the model that was created. You know, but the thing is, whatever it is that he's doing fast, we don't know what the slow things are. He may not have ever heard of Seth. He may not hear of him before he dies. But he's evidently working on some stuff with the help from his possible selves where he's getting something very, very, very right. I respect that. I don't want to be him by any means.
Mhm.
But you have to look at how other people chose to come here and be alive. And I have a lot of respect for what some people chose, especially the ones who are the most evil in the society, because it was very courageous and brave of them to come here and do that particular script so the rest of us could be all comfortable and nice and look at it and learn from it.
Yeah.
You know, without the karma.
And I have hundreds and literally hundreds of friends all over that are very into spirituality, reincarnation, all of that.
Mhm.
But just a tiny, tiny fraction of them can relate to, if I want to bring up the Seth material and talk, I just hardly any of them can. Even though they're aware of all of that, they're still not
Mhm.
on that level. Yeah, it's a very rare thing. Still,
That's
a lot
interesting.
more people than there used to be, but it's still pretty
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah, Martin's right. There was just a thread on, I think it was on one of ours, but they said, the Abraham Hicks, there's hundreds of thousands of followers, and Bashar and some of these others, and why not Seth? I mean, there's little pockets of groups, but we're pretty small.
Mhm.
Seth
Mhm.
International is growing really fast. Ivan is just blowing the socks off people.
Mhm.
It's a great site.
I like it. Yeah.
Ours has slowed down. I think each group has a kind of a different vibration. And
Yeah.
the thing is Seth is so diverse, whereas Abraham Hicks is it's about the law of attraction. That's it.
Mhm.
Seth never even talked about that. We had a session once, and Oshara's channel said, look up what Seth said about law of attraction. Well, I did, and it was value fulfillment.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what sent me into those books, and they were amazing, which then sent me into other books. And so
Mhm.
that put me on a tremendous learning path right then and there. But Seth really never mentioned the law of attraction. I mean, he did say the
He
word.
just lives it.
Right. It's value fulfillment because he's just so broad. And
Yeah.
I think that people are really, they're looking for a specific thing, not
Mhm.
everything. And Seth gave everything
Mhm.
all the time.
Also, Jane and Rob really intellectualized everything by adding their own experiences. And this is what was going on with us. This
Mhm.
is what Seth said to us. And I feel like every Abraham Hicks thing I've ever heard has the same feel as Seth. It clicked
Yes.
like that sounds right to me. But
Mm.
but it's not very intellectual at all. It's like, just do this till you feel better, you know?
Well, you know that she has channels, Seth.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah, she has. So I remember I looked up Abraham Hicks and Seth, and this came on, and I was so excited about it. I did transcribe it, and it's on the website somewhere on Seth discussion group.
Yeah.
But I was just so excited about the words, and at the very end, Abraham said, "And by the way, that was your Seth that was speaking."
Yes.
oh, I thought it says in the Seth book that Seth would never speak through anyone else, and that's how you would know it was real because
Yeah.
it came from Jane.
I have different thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Totally. And you know what? I'm probably the newest newbie of all of you. In my opinion, what Seth said over and over again is, I have always been a speaker, and every lifetime and spirituality. How could we think that a being that big would die with a human woman?
Right.
Mhm.
Speak again. How could we even think that? I
Mm.
can't.
Mhm.
I just can't.
But
That's the most complicated part of it for
Seth
me.
speaks
Yeah.
through all of us if we listen. And you know it is Seth when you can feel his words. Not every being that you hear feels like Seth. Like, they just don't. But when you get that information, you know, you can feel it in your heart that this is that same vibration.
Well, he said that he's not by far, there are thousands of them around imparting information. So even if it doesn't say specifically, I am Seth,
Yeah.
there's tons of different information streams that are coming to us from helpful others, that are all part of this group. I mean, Seth has become for me almost not a name of a person. It's more a name of a group
Mhm.
who like to look in on
Mhm.
us and make sure we're on the right path.
And
And
he
they
said
are,
he was a community of speakers.
yeah, they're a
That was
community.
Yeah.
a community
Yeah.
of speakers, and you're going to get that same information. And if the speaker that's speaking to you had any sense, he would call himself a different name.
Yes.
But I have I have something to say on this because
Hey,
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jen.
hey.
I tend to agree with Kate. Seth is not a singular. Seth is a cluster, a group of
Mhm.
personalities that are teachers. I would imagine that they form different groups depending upon the vibration of the person that they're trying to work with. So it might be one aspect of the personality could be called Abraham, and another could be. Anyway, as far as Seth never coming through anybody else, if you look at that from a Seth perspective, which I have, because I've really thought about this, I think that the things that Seth has been teaching are still there. It's a block of information. And if
Mhm.
you're at the right vibration, you can tap into it. And Jane was at that right vibration. So if you somehow or another match Jane's vibration, I don't see why you can tap into it too. However, there's other teachers and speakers who will probably match your vibration easier and custom tailor the information more to you. And that's my take on it.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a bunch of teachers on the other side, and they're just eager to give us information however we can absorb it. And from what I understand, they're flexible and they work with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have been working with us for millennia.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Hundreds of millennia. He said, like, long before this version of man even hit the planet.
Oh,
there were other versions here
Yeah.
of other entities
Mhm.
who were here for thousands of years, and they, you know, went out or whatever, and then something else evolved on this planet. It just,
Yeah,
I
but you know what?
understand that it's the infiniteness of existence is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, the levels and dimensions of possibility. And you can't say, oh, I know that couldn't have happened. Oh, I know that won't ever happen. You can't limit all it is. You
Right.
can't posit
Yes.
us
Mhm.
tiny, tiny little stupid existences sitting here trying to dictate what God can be. For heaven's sake, that's the height of hubris. Who in the hell are we to limit God?
We can't limit God, but we are
Right.
unlimited
No, but
beings.
I mean, in our
Okay.
consciousness, as we're talking to others, we're going to say, and he couldn't do this and he wouldn't have done that. First of all, you can't even say he.
True.
So,
No.
Right. Seth, right. Seth says he was a woman at times. Yeah.
yes, I mean, it's the infiniteness of possibility
Yeah. Now,
is much more than we can grasp.
you stood at the Seth house. You weren't inside, but you were there. Could you feel the energy of that place?
no, I
No?
was surprised. Well, I didn't walk up to the house. I was in the street
Before you
looking
were at
at
the front porch.
and the man that came out that we talked about before,
Richard. Yeah.
sort of put me in a state of mind like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe maybe it's just the past, and I'm weird for coming all the way up here and wanting to see it, and I don't feel Jane here, or I didn't feel anything. It looked a little decrepit, but I loved the house. It's very interesting to look at from the
Yeah.
outside. It's so
It
big and it's got those
Yeah.
extra parts and stuff. And I was so happy that we found it. And same thing when we found the Hill House. I was you said they changed it a lot. I
Totally.
was really disappointed in the Hill House because it looked so regular.
Yes.
Regular
Well,
house.
it looked more regular before, so it was just a little ranch. But when you're in there, especially when you're in apartment 5, where else have I felt it very strong? In apartment 7, which is directly above the living room. So she mostly
Mhm.
channeled in the living room.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So right above there is apartment 7. So I can feel it in 5. I can feel it 7. The other place I can feel it is in the carriage house in the back. Those are
Ah.
the 3 strongest vortex feelings that I get over there.
What went on in the carriage house?
That's where the owners lived. So the owners of the house. So, Jane was good friends with the mom that was there. I don't even know her name, Mrs. Spaziani. The dad's name was James, I think. Jim Spaziani. Yeah. So I don't know what happened over there, but I think that also the red brick house has some of this energy. So Seth also said that there was a structure here before this house was built. I don't remember what book that was in, but I think that the area is either on a ley line or a vortex or something that allowed that thread to be easily gotten there. And then Jane and Rob they weren't from this area. So how they were drawn and led to this area, I think was all a part of the spiritual path as well. So the house is special. And as Oshar and I have been systematically acquiring apartments and getting rid of people that don't have a good vibration, it's uplifting. It is uplifting. When the drug dealers were living in apartment 7, her and I couldn't even be in apartment 5. It felt so bad.
Mhm.
So, when you have that strong of an energy field, it can go for the good or the bad. So
Yeah.
I think when you had more bad people there, it was accentuating that. Now it has turned the corner. It is definitely uplifting now. So I can't wait until this is over so that you guys can come visit us again.
I
Because
want to visit.
especially you, Jeannie, and Audrey, it is a day drive for you guys.
Yeah.
Where's Mickey living now?
Oh, I'm in England.
Oh yeah, you said that last
Yeah.
time.
So we
Yeah.
go visit her too.
Yes.
I've never been to England.
Yeah.
I did a stop at an airport. I think we were at Heathrow for.
Oh yeah.
I did get out of the airport. Yeah. But anyway, you
My
know,
mom is from England, so I've been there a couple of times.
Oh,
Down by Brighton, Hove. It's right outside of Brighton.
oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Then Martin, you'll have to get on a plane.
Yeah, I love flying.
We'll
mean, I
pick you up
love
at
it.
the airport. The airport's like 15
Yeah.
minutes from here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited about those kind of get-togethers again.
But
Mhm.
did you feel something coming from the house as soon as you first went there, the first day you were in it?
Not me, no. But Oshara did.
Oh,
When I first started going there, I was not, that was over 4 years ago. I was not in this kind of a place where I'm at now at all.
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about that. I didn't feel any of that. The first time I went up and sat in apartment 5 and the boys lived there, and I'm like, I sat on the couch with the boys and I'm like, I just can't believe she's doing this to you people. And she was so excited, and she was showing it to Richie Kendall, and Laurel was there, Mary Dillman was there, and there I'm sitting on the couch with the boys thinking, this is crazy. You know, yeah, it was early on in our relationship, but I had figured out, you know, Oshara and I are reading these books and really tearing them apart, and so she's reading this one part, and so we're okay, so let's figure where Jane might have been sitting and what was she talking about. Well, we figured out where the coordinate points were.
wow.
Mhm.
Where the city was built in the corner, and all these different things because of, you know, people complain about Rob's notes, but Rob's notes told us where to find things
Yeah.
because he described them so well. We could sit in that apartment and we can say, oh, it was here in this corner, or oh, it was there. There's the bay windows. We were able to feel them, and Richie Kendall was able to confirm many of the different things because he was there. So
Rob's notes were channeling Seth in another way.
I
Mhm.
love Rob's notes. It's a book
Yeah.
within a book.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta show you something, Jeff. I'm gonna just show, because you're probably not gonna get this, but this is the new cover of the 2020. This is what we decided to come up with. You see what we put the cover? Can you
Yeah.
see that?
I can't read it, but aren't those notes?
What is it?
The
say?
Charmed Life. Yes.
That's what it
It's
is.
over Soul 7.
So if you open
Isn't
the
it?
whole book up, there it is. We used the words for this cover. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, yeah. I said to Oshara, I'm like, I got this idea for the cover. I have this idea, and I'm like, tell me your very favorite passage. And she's like, it's easy. It's the Charmed Life. So we pulled it out, and I came up with the cover for the book, and we're so excited about it. So
Very cool.
these went out to people Friday.
All
Oh.
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is in the package. If you were a first-time donor, you got your paint chip, but everybody got flashcards, and everybody got at least 2 flashcards, 2 pictures of Jane in some form. So, and I'm keeping track of them all. So eventually everybody can get a whole set.
That's cute.
Towards the end, we ran out of cards 1 and 2. So we have to order more cards. You know, I'm
Oh.
just so excited about how things are going so well in all
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing is I can show you the middle part. Where is it? This part of the book, right? Can't see the words, but there's the financial stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
And we
yes.
are in the black. That is the most exciting part. You know, one of these things is we ended up with total income for 2020 was $53,000
Mm.
Wow.
for the whole year. Now, at the end of the year, in the checking account, well, altogether money-wise, was $58,362. That's $5,000 more than we brought in.
Ah.
That, I mean, I'm just so happy about
Yeah.
how
That
the
is wonderful.
foundation is so strong right now. So
I'll
strong.
talk to you right after we get off about a loan.
Well, let me tell you this though, that they want the price of the house is, we don't even,
Speaking of contracts.
yeah, the price of the house, we don't even, we have a quarter of it saved so far in 4 years. So yeah,
Oh,
we still need help, but we're doing well.
Yeah, it's working out
We
beautifully.
don't owe any money, and that's the most important part.
That's a
Of course,
biggie.
we don't have a lot of bills. I mean, we have obviously printing and advertising, things like that.
mm,
And really the rent and the internet.
Mhm.
That's it. We do have a phone line dedicated over there too. So
mm.
those are the only bills it has. So it has no payroll, it has no anything like that. So
That's good.
yeah, we buy ink a lot. We actually decided that it's cheaper just to hire a printer than to buy ink.
Yes, I'm finding that out.
So when we have big runs, yeah, that's what we do. So we printed enough of these that they should last us all year.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Well,
Guess what time it is?
I know. It's a little bit late.
Oh, wow.
Usually around 2 o'clock we decide to jump in. But is everybody up for the meditation?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is on subtle aspects of insignificant action. Now, I told everybody this, Jeff. I am during this, I'm going to ask you to speak. So I'm just going to mute everybody. So feel free that you're not on live speaking. Simple words and whatever. But if you want to, of course, use your own words, substitute whatever works best for you, however you want to do it. So I will go ahead and mute everybody right now. Mute all. Okay. All right. All right. So this session is from the early sessions, book number 6, session 248. And it's on page 76. And for this exercise, I am going to ask to speak out loud. Everybody is on mute right now. So let's just start by settling in and closing your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. And take a second deep breath in and out. And now on this third breath, I would like for you to take it in and hold it for about 3 seconds. And exhale and relax. And with each breath that you take, allow yourself to relax deeper and deeper. And now I'm going to have you relax each part of your body, starting from the top of your head all the way down to your feet. And what I'd like you to do is, as I mentioned, each part of your body, I want you to place all of your focus on that part and try to tense it up or clench or tighten up that specific muscle as much as you can. And then you can just let go and release it. And as you let go, you can allow that portion of your body to relax completely. Let's begin with the top of your head. Tense or tighten up all the muscles around your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, and even your nose for a few moments. And let go completely and relax. Just get rid of all the tension. Now tighten up all the muscles around your mouth, your chin, and your jaw. And then part your teeth ever so slightly and just let all these muscles go. Let them relax. And you're doing a great job. Now tighten up all the muscles in your neck area for just a moment. the front parts of your neck and the back parts. And let go. Tighten up your shoulder area and your upper arms as much as you can. And now let them go completely. Let them droop down heavy and relaxed. Now tighten up all the muscles from your elbows down through your forearms to your wrists, all the way down to your fingertips, clenching your fists closed as tight as you can. And then just let go, allowing them to be totally relaxed and to be still. And as you continue to breathe regular and comfortably, I'd like you to tighten up all the muscles in your chest area. And now let go and continue to relax. Tighten up all the muscles in your stomach. Hold it for a few seconds. And as you let go, you allow all of the stress and tension to leave your body completely. Now tighten up the areas around your hips, your bottom, and even your thighs. And just let go, allowing yourself to relax more and more. And now tighten the muscles of your calves, your ankles, your feet and toes. Make them tight and clenched as much as you can. And as you let go, allow everything in your body to relax completely. From the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, you can allow yourself now to relax completely and deeply. Now I would like you to go to your heart space. Just drop your attention to the center of your chest, where all the love, peace, compassion, joy, vitality, happiness all reside. There you will find your safe place to do this work. Notice the comfortable stuffed couches and chairs. Pick one and get comfortable next to the fireplace. Hear the crackling of the fire and just settle in, listening to my voice as I read Seth's words on subtle aspects of insignificant action. By now, it should be obvious to you that you perceive only a small portion of reality. Indeed, that your idea of reality is formed and limited by your perceptions. As you dig deeper into yourself, you will find hints of other realities. Yours is not the only system that exists within what you would call the same space as the physical universe. You simply do not perceive these other systems. It is not space or time that divides one system from another. Habits of perception divide them, however. The same atoms and molecules that are perceived in your system as physical objects are perceived in other systems as entirely different realities. Basically, the same energy that composes a system projects into other systems, and it is perceived differently. Space, time, size, density, all of these are the results of your own perception. They have little to do with the nature of basic reality. Distance has nothing to do with space. Realities that you can only perceive in terms of light can, for example, exist as sound, as motion, as color, and can have dimensions with which you are completely unfamiliar. As an exercise, occasionally catch yourself in some insignificant action, speaking or touching. If you speak, for example, be conscious of speaking and hearing yourself speak. Try to think of words or to experience them in terms of color, in terms of bulk, density, or distance. Think of the beginnings of the simple act of which you are normally almost completely unaware, the muscular motions that must be made before one word can be uttered. Catch yourself in a simple thought and try to experience the beginnings of that action. You will be led into action indeed in a completely new way. Then try to experience this simple action as it affects others, not only emotionally and physically in terms of the changes it elicits from their complicated structures, but also the new action it requires of them. Now let's take a few minutes to experience subtle aspects of insignificant action while we are together and safe, and while our eyes are still closed, and after hearing what Seth said. Again, remember, you're all muted for this exercise, so you can speak out loud freely, and I will give you plenty of time. Try to think of the words as you speak them. Repeat as necessary, and remember you're muted. I would like you to say out loud, I am an unlimited self. Now try to experience these words in terms of color. Now, using this same phrase, I am an unlimited self, try to experience these same words in terms of bulk, density, and distance. Next, I would like for you to think of the muscular motions that must be made before one word can be uttered. Speak out loud just one word. Let's choose the word self. Say out loud, self, and really pay close attention to the muscles needed. Now catch yourself in the next simple thought you may have and try to experience the beginnings of that action. You will be led into action indeed in a completely new way. Now try to experience this same simple action as it affects others, not only emotionally and physically, in terms of the changes it elicits from their complicated structures, but also the new actions it requires of them. And let's just sit with this for a few moments. And now it is time to come back to your physical body, totally refreshed, feeling wonderful in every way. So on the count of 3, you will be fully back and ready to resume Seth Talk. 1, you are beginning to emerge, feeling totally relaxed. 2, your mind is clear and alert. Your eyes are starting to open. And 3, eyes wide open, fully awake and feeling fine. Now, I guess you guys can all unmute yourselves. I guess I can't. I thought I could just do that, but I can't.
Thank you, Kate.
Woo.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, what did you guys get from that? What the
Yes.
Was Jack doing it too?
No, he kept asking me what was I doing because I was so quiet and the TV was still off. So it's like, well, if you're not using the sound, can I have the TV back? So as soon as we came out, I turned to him and said, I couldn't answer you because I was in a meditation. That's what was going on because I just went like that in the meditate and down on the side of the chair, just, hey, I hear you, but shut up.
Oh, it's a good thing that I mute people because then if something happens, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that worked
Yeah,
out.
I usually do. Yeah, I usually mute myself so that any noises in the room, other things,
Mhm.
won't interfere.
Yeah.
But my God, was I gone.
Right.
Whew.
Whoa. So give me some info.
Did you hear my outburst?
I guess not.
Oh, that's funny.
We were muted.
But I
My
thought that even though we were muted, that you could hear us. I
No.
mean, I thought you were muting us to the outside, but that whatever we said when you told us what to say, that you would hear whether we said it or not.
No. This was just for you. No.
Oh.
Nobody could hear it.
Well,
No.
there was a point where you asked us to say something about being a structured, unlimited being.
Yes.
And I have no idea of anything that went before. But at that very moment, it snatched me very abruptly back to conscious awareness. My mouth was moving. And I mean, I literally spoke very loudly into the room, which is what I think alerted Jackson, what's going on? Because I very loudly repeated it, turned to him to tell him
Wow.
in a very loud voice. And so I suddenly was aware then that, oh, we've been doing something. Oh, I'm back. Who is that? Which of you came back? But that was a wonderful feel. That is the most powerful thing I think I've ever felt in a meditation was
Wow.
that whatever it was that grabbed me literally by the scruff of the neck and snatched me back here. Like you're needed here for a moment and then you can go back.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
The words were, I am an unlimited self.
Ah,
Yeah.
I thought you said a structured unlimited.
That's okay.
That's funny.
Okay.
The structure.
That's what came out of my mouth anyway. And I mean, I woke myself up with the sound of my voice. That's what pulled me out of the meditation. And then I slipped right back.
So that's a beautiful thing for me, feedback wise, that you're unconsciously getting everything because you're hearing the instructions and
Yes.
following it. Yeah.
But it's a very distant me that's aware. I just keep the tiniest little bit of the volume on, not literally, but I mean, the soul,
Yep.
it's just aware on the tiniest audible level, but the rest of me is gone. And this was the most gone I've ever been in all of these. This was deep. I had no idea that I was even doing anything.
Well, I think that things will come up for you in the next couple days. It's like we're just so busy all week because of all this work.
I have no idea what we were asked, what the reference is to any of the rest of it. God only knows what you told us to do. Now on Friday, you're going to do this, and on Saturday, you're going to.
Thank God my voice was recorded everywhere. So when I asked you to say those words, I asked you to experience them in terms of color instead of words.
Really?
Or density or distance.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, the color vibe for the day is, right, Jeff?
I thought it was purple. I thought it was me and Kate.
It may be in your reality.
This is the color of the old wise woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine changes from time to time, according
Yeah.
to where I'm at and what I'm doing. My
But
color.
when you showed up,
I have what are the other ones? Density and
Oh.
It was density, distance, and bulk.
Oh.
None of those I have. So
Okay.
as a multi-dimensional being, I have no bulk or distance. That's just an illusion of this plane.
Mm. But when you showed up
Camouflage reality.
with that yellow,
to experience the words that you speak instead of hearing words,
yeah.
experience it as bulk or as distance or as color or
Oh.
so it's by trying to experience even getting the word self out in a different way
Mm.
that we know how to experience it in this 3D reality we live in, but to experience it in a different way as color, as density, as
Oh.
something else, then you're touching upon those other realities and seeing what they could possibly see. And I did not, from this exercise, this is what I said. I worked so hard on this one. I went back and I researched through this whole piece. And Seth talked about he was going to be, touching on some questions that Rob had. But then he went into the whole Karnak thing with the question. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I shouldn't admit it, but I do know.
I can't read that crap. I don't like it. So
when you say the word Karnak, all I see is
Johnny Carson.
yeah,
Johnny Carson with that big thing on his head,
and he's like,
the turban.
but yeah, that's what I got. So this was a hard one for me because I am very focused on the physical reality. Very focused.
Yeah, me too.
So to switch to colors, like I know a woman that she, instead of hearing sounds, she sees colors.
Oh.
And it's so unusual. I never heard of that. She's the only person I've ever heard of that does that. Well, at that time. Now
I've heard of it.
I've heard of other people, but she physically used to come into this place. And I thought that was amazing. There was another woman I worked with, and she could see energy. And she said, you think you want to see energy. How cool is that? She says, just try to drive. Just try and try to see things moving energy around you. And she's like, it's very distracting. It's very difficult.
It is. Yeah.
So
I experienced that just a couple days ago.
Oh,
A well-traveled road, and I'm in my little land of Jeffiness, and I don't know where I ended up or what turn I took.
wow.
I need not to do that while I'm driving anymore.
Yeah. Now, did you get anything from this meditation, Jeff?
Well, I have been spending a lot of time in another reality. I have been interacting with sacred circuits and symbolism, and I've been living in their world for a while. And so as soon as you say, close your eyes and stuff, I'm already doing my thing there. It's very natural. I can get very distracted by it because it's kind of a different place. And sometimes you just have to, especially if you're driving, you just have to know where you are. But it's a good thing. The inside space is a really good place to explore. And your particular vibration will take you into your particular space, and it can be whatever you want it to be.
Very nice. Thank you. Martin, how are you feeling?
Wow, I literally became nothing. I mean, I don't know how to describe that, but yeah. I mean, no thoughts, no thinking, just complete void, infinite void. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And it started out.
That's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And it started out, you said the color, and the color was like mercury. And it was like mercury, and then it just broke up and spread out and came super, super thin, and then had no edge to it at all. But if I went under it, I could look up, I could look down, all over, but straight ahead, nothing. And then I was in it and nothing. Yeah. Total nothing.
It's super submersive, isn't it?
Until you called me back.
Exactly. I got snapped. It was so abrupt. When you come back, when you suddenly realize you're back and you discover that your mouth is moving.
Wow. Audrey, how did you do?
Well, when you said colors, I started seeing blue, then I zoned out and I heard the ticking of the clock and I zoned back in and it brought me to a childhood memory. I didn't explore the memory, but the tick tock was there in my head.
Oh, okay. All right. Jeannie?
I was kind of in and out of it. I got a really clear visual when you said, pull up next to the fire and relax. I was like, oh, I don't have to still be in my chair relaxed. And I had like a very vivid image of a gold velvet couch, and I was lying on the couch and there was a fire and it was very cozy.
Ooh.
And then I got confused. When it was the colors and the bulk thing, I was like, my first instinct was fuchsia, but I think I was already thinking about that because I had these little fuchsia dots on me and I was seeing them on and I was like, so maybe I wasn't thinking what the words. I started visualizing the actual words as bulky and then I was like, but infinite is taking up the most space. Well, of course, that makes sense because it's infinite. And, and then I got lost in my own mind and I was like, I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. And I kind of woke up and like before it ended, I was already out of it because I was confused. But that was like me being scatterbrained, I think.
It doesn't sound confused. It sounds like you were experiencing it from a different reality. And
Well,
that
the part that said, now think about how it would affect someone else.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? One simple thing I envisioned was just opening the window because even though it's snowy out in Brooklyn, it's really hot in my apartment all the time. And I was like, oh, my simple act is walking to the window and opening it. And then it was like, how would it affect somebody else? And I was like, well, Oscar's just going to come and close it again. Like, now what? Like, that doesn't make any sense for my meditation. And so that I got lost there.
Okay. All right.
I love that phrase you said.
Which
You
one?
said, I got lost in my own mind.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I need that on a t-shirt, Jeffrey.
You too in those t-shirts.
It sounds like that
my
shirt.
mind is a dangerous neighborhood. I shouldn't go in there alone.
Well, so while we were meditating, other people joined us. Oshara was on, Maureen was on, Joe was on, Ying Li, and I got let's see, it's not behaving well for me. It keeps jumping as I'm trying to scroll. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't want to read. Ying Li said, great meditation. She felt expansion, purple and fluid. Purple, yes. Judy Snyder, she said she came in late, but she was in time for the meditation. It was amazing, so profound. She said the word self, placed self within self, became simply energy and love with no definition, but as this rich depth of reddish, purple, pink, blue flowing. Isn't that funny? That's every color somebody's mentioned. Just amazingly flowing and out there. Could see colors surround you when I thought of you, and then surround the group, and then move on and just surround loved ones in their locations. Self as a color or essence. I want to feel more of that. It was wonderful. Made a real impression on my psyche. Oh God, thank you. Wow. Thank you, Judy. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was nice.
You know, the color of fuchsia seems to be coming up today And that seems
Mhm.
unusual for me because I was doing art yesterday and I used some neon fuchsia in it, which is something I never, ever do. So, and you got fuchsia and you got yellow. And so it's a color thing.
Yeah.
Purple and gold. How royal can you be?
Yeah. Miriam wants to buy your t-shirt, Jeff. She said, I like Jeff's t-shirt idea about the mine being a bad neighborhood.
Not bad, dangerous.
Dangerous. Where can she buy that? She says. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the feedback on these meditations. This is the highlight of my week is researching these and then doing them and sharing them with everyone. I am just, I feel so loved and so honored that I can do this for everybody, including myself. Because as I said in the beginning, even when I'm helping other people, the words that come to me to tell them is really for me to hear.
Mhm.
Always. So I'm just so grateful for this group. I really am.
Us too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah, we
thank
are
you.
very grateful.
Thank you
Aw.
very much.
Ooh.
And your energy, Jeannie, is so nice. It's so
I'm-
nice to have you
Yeah.
join.
Thanks.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I'm actually feeling very lightheaded and a little bit on the woozy side.
Go and lie down.
Huh?
Do you need to go and lie down?
No, I think spirits around me.
Oh,
It's a good thing.
I thought you meant drained.
Oh, no. This kind of work is never draining. Sometimes it's woozy, go to sleep because they have more to give me, sort of thing. But no, never is bad. It's always great. Oh, Miriam said she loves us too.
Oh,
Love you too.
Yeah. It's such a good group. You know, I had a woman that asked me, she's like, what was your intention on doing this group anyway? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, my initial intention was to do this for the local people because we couldn't meet in person anymore. And then nobody joined, but all of you guys joined. So we made all these new friends, and it's really morphed into using it's the development part of the research with Seth's
The
work.
universe is non-local.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Love it. So yes, this is the research and development department until we can be in the Seth house again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. This felt good today.
Yes, this is a very, very good energy. Yeah, very happy. So
It was interesting when you called us back. It was this time, I not so much ever felt it like that before. It was literally like I was being pulled.
Mm.
My eyes were like being pulled from the outside.
Yes,
I just pulled my eyes open.
I told you.
Yeah.
Snatched by the scruff of the neck, like, come on.
Yeah.
That's so
I
cool
should
that
have
you
a
guys were
gentler
doing
approach.
It was amazing. And undeniable. He couldn't say no.
Wow. And some people actually say to me, well, I wonder if it's a good thing to do things remotely. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I can bring you back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll just have to work on it a little gentler,
It sounds like the hook.
Oh my God, did you
In
see
vaudeville,
did
you know,
you see that?
the hook.
Did you see that crazy painting I did with the hook right there?
Oh, yes,
Oh yeah.
yes.
Did you see that up
I
close?
was looking at that earlier.
This is,
Oh, God.
and I actually named it Hooked.
Oh, my word. That's it.
That's a real plant. And I
Yeah.
saw it online and I saved it, but I cannot find it again. So I don't know the name.
Huh.
of it. So I have
Oh.
to figure out what it's called. Very
Hmm.
cool.
Well, that is definitely the vaudevillian hook.
That's so funny. Maybe I'll use that for, Facebook wouldn't let me use the old pictures. I had to create this event in a whole different way. So maybe I'll use that one for the next one.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
What a way to re-enter the now.
It's all about the now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so for this exercise, there was empathic stuff in here. So I think that was the week I was having was about this. So it was when you do an action or think about doing an action, how does that affect other people? So that is that empathic part. That is stepping into their shoes and can I feel how that's going to impact somebody else? Depending on the thought, opening a window, there might not have been a big thought there, but there could have been, there could have been somebody on the other side looking in, or who knows?
Yeah.
That maybe you just never know what effect you're going to have on somebody else by anything that you do.
Yeah, somebody over there is saying, wow, what was that?
Absolutely. I know at the Seth house, the landlord has us leave the thermostat in 1A at 72 degrees, and that's for the whole building. Well, when 1A is at 70, it's probably the coldest apartment in the place. By the time it gets up to 7, it's like a hothouse up there. The windows are always open. So I do understand that. 5 is a very warm apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's steam heat, so it rises. So, yeah,
That's the best kind of heat.
it
Yeah.
is.
What I've got here too.
You got
That's-
if you're
that's so
not
Brooklyn.
used to it, though, you hear clang, clang, clang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clang, clang.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
That clanging drives me insane.
Yeah, it used to be. Well, I remember once we woke up and there was just puddles. It was just spitting, But the landlord, he knew how to fix it all. So he's really good. Yeah. He's coming over. He's bringing us samples for flooring for apartment 5 and apartment 7 on Wednesday. So we're gonna be getting new flooring in those 2 apartments, and then 4 we want him to sand them because they're hardwood. They're beautiful, they're nice, and stain them. So that we're
That would
hoping.
be nice.
I think that's probably how it was when Jane was there. We're trying to, we talked to people that were in the apartments way back when, but it's a long time ago. People don't really remember. The big thing I hear mostly is Jane and Rob were very minimalists. They didn't have a lot of furniture. They had a lot of books. They had a lot of books, paintings around. I'm starting to feel that, right? Paintings all over the walls, and books, and plants, but not a lot of furnishings. Like some of the students would tell me, well, we would carry our own lawn furniture up there. So we had a set, or they would just sit on the floor.
Yeah, they sat on the floor a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they sat in, like, you had couch people, you had then below the couch, and then younger people. So, from what I understand, when we talked to Richie Kendall, he's like, there were 40 people jammed in this room. He says, I don't know how we did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love when Seth would just pick a person in the audience and like discuss a specific problem they're having, or equate it to a past life, or solve something for them, right? When you're little, that's how you want everything to be solved, just by someone giving you the answer, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
Nice to have that sometimes.
Seth was so good about making you search for your own answers.
Personal responsibility.
He gave the tools, like this tool here that he gave us to experience how another dimension might experience our words.
Yeah.
Like, that is just mind-blowing.
That was a really lovely part of it. The fact that this thing would be a totally different concept in another dimension.
Yes.
Yeah.
The energy
is, atoms are used in a different way for a different.
Yes. I had never thought about that.
Seth says, I forget which book it is, that in other dimensions, how do I want to say this? Everything flickers on and off. And when it's off here, it's on in another dimension,
Yeah.
in another reality. However, in another reality, it'll take on a different form is a bad word, but form is what I'm going to use. So my glass might be a glass here. In a different reality, it could be a sound. In another reality, it could be a shadow. You know, so it's to say it's the same thing. It just takes on different properties.
It could be exactly what I just read. There was more to it, and those kind of thoughts were there. That, you know, when we're hearing a word, somebody in another dimension could be seeing a color, or you know, or something else. So yeah, and
The energy is still there. It just takes on a different.
And we
form.
are so focused on this is real, and it's not. You know, it's only real because that's how we perceive it to be. It's a different way for people that perceive it another way.
And we perceive from the inside out, like a movie projector projecting the world that we want to see. And each one of us has a different world that we project. And where we agree upon it is where we share our realities.
I wonder how the percentage of importance, like how important it is to just experience your own reality versus interacting with others, because we're projecting onto them too, right? But
that's an individual thing. Whatever's important to you is what's important.
And that's why some people can just live alone in the woods. And
that's why if everybody witnesses an accident, everybody will be telling you a different story.
But that thing about go ahead.
Well, growing up, there were 4 of us, and we all have our own believe what our reality was. All different.
Definitely.
Yeah. But that thing about it being one thing here and something else in another dimension and something else and something else, it made sense to me, because if we're talking about how we have such infinite possible dimensions, I had never projected that idea onto any other object or thought or anything. But if, you know, when we talk about the infiniteness of all that is, it can manifest in literally trillions of ways, then how surprising is it that any other thing he created would have that same capacity?
Right. Remember the story, I don't know which book it was in, but where Jane looks out the window and sees a puddle come to life?
Yes. I
Mhm.
find that fascinating.
I know. That is so, like, it really captures your imagination.
It danced in the puddle, danced in the rain, whatever the being, the puddle being or whatever.
Is that where she projected her consciousness into a drop of water and looked out? Something like that.
A puddle on the ground outside the window or something like
Is that
that.
what it was?
I don't remember that at all, so I don't know what book that's in.
But I was so taken with the idea of the puddle being, and I can remember trying to duplicate that in different meditations or in a way of seeing that would include that capacity, and I never did. But I was so struck by her ability to do it.
And that's kind of like the Shirley MacLaine becoming the tree thing, right?
Yes.
It's like a projection in consciousness. Maybe it's in projections of consciousness.
Might be.
Oh, Adventures in Consciousness.
Yes.
Oh, I have not read that one, but we do have it here. That's one of the books that we put somewhere in this little booklet. Oh yeah, this is the back of. We put little books in there, and I didn't know about that book. So there's still so much I have to read and learn and know. I still haven't finished Unknown Reality yet. I'm close, but I'm still working on that one. And
I never finished the Oversoul 7 books.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yes.
They really helped me with the idea of reincarnational lives. I remember that. But I found the nonfiction ones more compelling. Like, I need to know what this specific thing means, you know.
Mhm. Oversoul 7 to me just helped make it very real. And the first one I was just riveted to. The second one I didn't like as much. And then the third one was so much of it was about Elmira and I could, somebody that doesn't live here and would read that book would not have the same feelings as someone that lived here because we know these places.
Yeah.
Like she talked about the church on the corner of Church and Walnut. That church is for sale. It looks like a keyhole. And what was it in the book? It was the library where they were all connected to the Museum of Time.
Yeah.
And it is for sale. And actually, we tried to see how much they want for it. It's been for sale for a long time. Nobody.
How much do they want for it? Let's get
I
it.
don't know, but the building is so out of place where it is. Like it just looks like it just doesn't even belong there. It's a church, or it was. It was a Church of Christian Science or something like that.
Maybe it was never there until Jane put it there.
And that's possible too. I mean, in that book, she talked about going down by the river and the psych center, and I'm like, oh my God, we see all these places. You know, she talked about where the dentist is at the red brick house, and that was a dentist's office right before it fell into disrepair.
So when you go to the dentist, do you smell cloves?
Cloves.
Well, it's been in disrepair for a long time.
That was in one of the Museum of Time,
Yeah.
Oversoul 7, the Museum of Time.
He put cloves on the
My grandmother used to make us bite down on a clove if we had a toothache, and it would make it stop.
It
works too. Whiskey works too.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what my father did.
Well, at 9 or 10, she wasn't going to give me her whiskey.
Oh,
well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to bring this to a close. I have a date with a handsome young man. My grandson is coming over, and he bought a wall hanging, and he wants me to help him paint it. So he's going to be coming over here soon, and we have a painting project.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. He's getting out a little bit more now. So yeah.
That's good. How old is he?
He's going to be 14 in March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 14
Okay.
years old. Yeah.
That's a great age. Oh, gosh.
Inducted into the Junior National Honor Society. So he's in 97% of his class. He's just doing remarkably well. He's so smart, and he's so conscious of other people. And when he was little, he was such a healer, and he doesn't remember any of that stuff. You know, and I know the seeds are planted in there. Now he thinks I'm just crazy. But that's okay. That's all right. He'll come around. So we'll start with artwork.
That's funny.
So this was wonderful, and I thank you all for joining us, and everybody that's out there that has sent donations to the Seth House. In the next week, you should be getting your thank yous and the 2020 progress report. They all went out in the mail on Friday. So there was only one that the post office wouldn't take it because it was missing something. So I know it had a street, but not a house address. So they wouldn't take it. So anyway, and let me tell you, it took 2 hours at the post office because they had to pop in everybody's address to make sure it was right. And crazy amount of time to get this done. I got to figure out a better way to do it online. You know, using stamps.com or something. So make life a little bit easier. But anyway, and they all got out, so everybody should be getting their stuff real soon. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts at the Seth House that without each and every donor, you know, we couldn't do this. It wouldn't be a reality. No, it was not Scientology, Miriam. No.
Church of Christ Scientist, probably. Yeah.
Science, I think.
That's Mary Baker Eddy's.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
My parents were
Very much
Christian
a mental
scientists.
Mm.
portal. Yeah. I'm
Well,
very
the
fascinated by her. I
building-
like her quite a bit.
Building looks like
Yeah.
an octagon and then another piece. So it looks like a keyhole. Like if you were to look at it from,
Oh.
looks like a keyhole. It's very, very unusual building and so out of place because it's around it are all Victorian buildings and
Oh.
very large brick buildings. It's just really out of place where it is. But it's been there. Obviously, it was there when Jane was there. I didn't know
Mhm.
that. It looks like a modern building.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think churches make fabulous homes afterwards, after whatever time, it's the vibration in them is so nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a great vibe to have.
Mm.
A lot of them in this town. A lot of churches here.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So anyway, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you all.
Love you.
Love you.
Ew.